Welcome back, everybody. My name is All Fun and Games. I stream every day on Twitch TV, and I also make fun little videos here on YouTube. My voice sounds scratchy because I was sick before. I'm no longer sick anymore. I just sound like I am. So, you know, if you sound different than normal, well, I don't know what to say about it. But today, let's talk about some more characters. I've had a lot of people ask me, can you please tell me what the best DLC character is to get? Okay. So let's talk about DLC characters, downloadable content, essentially paid DLC, unless you have a lot of things, to weave the character to a bunch of spools, per se, right? Because that's what you need in order to actually not pay for things, Don't Starve Together related. Of course, if you would rather just pay for the character, you can do that too. Okay, so first of all, how do you get a free character? Maybe I'll save that for another video. Let's save that for another video, shall we? Because I don't really want to dive too much into like the different ways, but I mean, you know what? I guess I could probably talk about it briefly. Okay, how do you get a free character? Well, if you want to get free channel points, I'm thinking about Twitch. Free clay points, you can go to my Twitch chat and type !spools. If you watch a video on YouTube, just type All Fun and Games space free spools or free clay points. There I showcase how to actually get yourself clay points, which convert into spools, which converts into basically getting any item in the game. I think right now there's enough clay points that convert into spools where you can get either one or two actual characters, or you can get like I think maybe 3 elegance or 4 elegance or something. So it kind of works out pretty well if you actually want to do it the free way. But of course, if you like just buying it and you don't want to wait, you could always do that too. So essentially what you want to do is get yourself spools, and you can get spools also from unraveling things by playing the game. I'll make another video on it. But okay, let's talk about the paid DLC characters. Now, there's obviously the normal characters that were built into Don't Starve Together originally that existed before most of the other ones came out. So, characters like Worley. Well, Worley was originally in Shipwrecked and migrated over and is not a paid character, as it just became a character that just came over from Shipwrecked. So we didn't have to pay for Worley. Worley was free. And we welcomed Worley and said, "Hello, Worley, how are you doing?" Walter is another character that just came into the constant, didn't actually have to be a paid DLC character either. So both characters are cool, and you don't have to pay for them. They're just there. Now, of course, we have our paid DLC characters. Who are they? We have Wurt, which is our character that I will describe very soon. We have Wormwood, which is another cool character, which, I mean, if you think about Worley coming from Shipwrecked, well, technically Wormwood came from Hamlet, but as a paid DLC character, do you have to pay for Wormwood instead of Worley? I don't know about that, but whatever, it doesn't matter about that. Now, then of course we have Wanda, who's another paid DLC character, and last but not least, we have our little friend Wurt over here. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the characters individually and focus on their strengths and kind of go from there. Now, let's start with Wurt. Wurt has the ability to basically devour souls, and in exchange will gain a little bit of hunger and a little bit of sanity. Now, if there's people around you from healing, you can drop those souls to heal people around you, and you get sanity from doing so. And of course, you help out your friends by healing them. How do you get souls? By killing things like bees, spiders, whatever. Then you gain souls. You can also soul hop. So Wurt is an all-around pretty awesome character. Wormwood has the ability to basically go around and plant anywhere. Also has the ability to run faster and do cool things during springtime when they're fully in bloom, although it does attract things like bees and whatnot, so that could be a little annoying. But Wormwood is more or less your big planter, but not just that, as Wormwood has the ability to pretty much tear off their own arm to give you one of the best items in the game, the living log, which can be used, for a lot of different things. And especially if you're tearing off your arm with none other than our little friend Wurt close by, you can take and tear off as many arms as you want, and every time you get close to being dead, Wurt can heal you back up, and before you know it, you're sitting on like 40 plus living logs. Also, you can make none other than a bramble husk, which is a set of armor for your chest that you can pick cactus with and not take any damage. It also releases like a little bit of spikes just by getting hit. But let's not talk about too much things because each character goes pretty in depth, and I want to focus on that as I go down the tier list. So yes, lots of cool abilities as Wormwood. Wurt has the ability to live in the swamp and see different things like where the tentacles are, can run fast on swamps and manipulate merms to make a really cool, strong army. Has the problem where they can only eat veggies, which is not too big of a problem if you know what you're doing and know what you're cooking. But all around a pretty cool character, not to mention one of the best characters that has pretty awesome skins. And then we get into none other than our little friend Wanda. Now, Wanda is a character that has a pretty cool ability where you don't really have HP. Instead, you just get old. Every time you take a hit, well, guess what? You're going to get a little bit older until you eventually die. So when you get revived, though, if you use the florid postern a million different times, you're not going to require booster shots. You can still teleport using your watches, and you can do a crazy amount of damage. If you're a little bit older and have a little bit more experience, you have a lot of damage. So the older you are, you use your clock to do damage. You can use backtrack watches to teleport around. You can use a backstep watch to teleport a short distance. You can use a device that unlocks a teleportation area where a bunch of people can jump in before you do to teleport your whole group together. But all around, otherwise, a pretty cool character. Okay, now with all that out of the way, let's talk about my opinion on the top tier DLC characters. So the character to get first, second, third, or fourth, okay? Now, before I say this is my opinion. So you might sit there and go, nope, I don't agree. That's stupid. Why would you say that? This is my opinion. Of course, everyone has their own, and you're more than welcome to post it down in the comments because I always love to see new things that people talk about and why they believe otherwise. Now, everybody has their own play style too. So keep in mind, I might name something here and you're going to probably say, I don't know about that. Like, I don't really like fighting or whatever. I like just wandering around and planting things. Well, everyone has their own variation of how they play the game. So that kind of, depends on that as well. So just keep that in mind. This is all my personal opinion. This has no reflection on how the game is. Well, it does, but I just don't want to manipulate anybody to getting a game or a character. And then when they get the character, they're like, well, I wish I got this character instead. So just remember that this is just my personal opinion. Okay. Number 1 on the list, none other than Wartox. Why is Wartox so amazing? Let's talk about why Wartox is like essentially top tier for me, because Wartox has the ability to teleport anywhere. You can teleport using souls, and souls are so easy to come by. Like literally, like they're just so easy to come by. Like why else wouldn't you want to have an awesome character like this? Like, I just don't get it. Like it's just so awesome. Now, other than that, what else do you get? You have the ability to, yes, you can heal your groups of friends by getting souls very easily from things like bees and from small little insects and killing spiders and blah, 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 which is very easy to do. You can accumulate up to 20 souls and drop those souls really fast to heal people around you, which also gets you lots of sanity, which is pretty cool too. Not lots of sanity, but enough sanity. Now, Wartox has one downfall. What is that? Well, Wartox has, not so friendly around any type of animals like the pigs and all that other stuff. So they're not going to be friendly to them, but whatever. You're a little monster. Who cares? The other thing is, too, when you eat food, well, you get half the value from it. So that's also a problem, too. So everything's halved at food value. So whether you're healing and all that other stuff, you're only going to get half of everything. So that's a little bit of a downfall. But really, is it, though? If you can teleport around, you can drop your souls to do all kinds of sorts of different things. Like, to me, that's pretty beneficial. The reason why Wartox is so good is because he works so well with everything. You can have a random character in the server that's playing near you, and they're always requesting a Wartox for quick heals, whether you're fighting a boss or things like that. And the more you have, I guess a sort of crowd control going on, for example, if you have a Wendy nearby, Wendy's a great character to have accompanied with a Wartox because Wendy can CC using Abigail, which does a lot of damage to a lot of different things and killing them, and you're absorbing an abundance amount of souls. So these two characters work hand in hand together. Wartox works really well just basically going around the entire map, exploring things by just teleporting, and especially in the caves too. So all around, a great character. The one thing about Wartox, though, is your sanity might become a problem if you don't know how to obviously, keep track of it properly, as every time you eat a soul, which will give you a little bit of hunger, it actually drops down your sanity. So just keep that in mind. You might consider eating meaty stew to keep your Wartox nice and full. But other than that, Wartox is one of the best characters for this specific reason. I strongly recommend if you do get Wartox, spend longer than a few minutes getting to know them, because it can be a really good character. Now, next up was a little bit hard for me. I used to play Wanda a lot before actually Wartox, and I used to like Wanda a lot. Wanda was actually my go-to character over Wartox until I finally realized how amazing Wartox was. So instead of going to Wormwood next, I'm going to go to Wanda. Wanda would be my second choice. She's almost like a little mini Wartox without the loss of sanity. But the other bonus thing about Wanda is you can die as many times as you want, and you don't require any booster shots. This might sound weird if it's coming from somebody going, I thought you were good at the game. Why would you want to die a million times? Because then you can just go around and pretty much do whatever you want, and if you die, who really cares? You can use the same portal a million different times to revive, and it's like, what does it really matter anyways? You have a backtrack watch, which lets you teleport around, and a backstep watch, which lets you kind of do kind of a closer dodging and weaving. You have a clock, which revives people that are dead, including yourself, which acts like a life-giving Amy. You have the ability to use your actual stopwatch, which does a lot of damage if you're older. There's just endless amounts of things with Wanda that pretty much gives her a lot of benefits. Does she get old and when she gets hit, and could that really kill you pretty easily? Yes, but don't really think about that too much, as I don't think it's that big of a deal when you're actually looking closer at the characters going, okay, this character can literally output a ton of damage if done properly and done right. You just have to essentially master Wanda in order to actually get the full benefits. Now, I kind of put Wanda and Wormwood almost in the same category of my second option. Sometimes I like to play Wormwood as well. So I'm going to actually say, instead of making Wormwood third, I'm going to make Wormwood second. If I had the choice, I would either go with Wanda second or Wormwood second. Okay, why is Wormwood good? I've already mentioned it before. Wormwood can pretty much plant anywhere. He can talk to plants really well and just get an overall benefit from farming. But Wormwood has one of the best items in the game, and that's the Bramble Husk armor. The Bramble Husk armor is so good and can actually be used for multiple different purposes, including giving a Bramble Husk to Wartox. So all Wartox now needs to do is wander around with a little Bramble Husk on and just kill a bunch of things, let the CC damage coming from all the spikes that are coming off the Bramble Husk, which represents an elephant cactus, if I think that's the proper name, elephant cactus, I don't know, from Shipwrecked, which is essentially what the armor is, and it just releases these little spikes that do damage to anything that's nearby. So you're grabbing, instead of just hitting one thing with your spear, now you're letting your armor take all the damage and do all the damage, and you're just gathering like 15 souls in a matter of a second just by using the Bramble Husk armor. And it can be used for other things, of course, too. And now they've changed the actual recipe for making a few different things, so it just benefits it even more. Other than that, you can also make your little bramble traps and stuff too, and you can also get living logs from just taking off your arm by clicking a button, and it just does it right away. So there's so many benefits to Wormwood, and Wormwood's pretty cool too. Now, Wormwood, although doesn't get any healing from food value, but can still eat things like meatballs and pierogies and all that. So that's why Wormwood is second for me, because Wormwood doesn't get any healing from regular foods, but you can use healing from, healing salves and poop and all that other stuff. So it's not really like the best, because you can't heal from that, but it's also not the worst. Okay, so that leaves us to none other than the last, Wurt. Some people might say, are you serious? Are you leaving Wurt as the last paid DLC character? Are you serious? Like, you clearly don't play Wurt. That's true. I don't play Wurt. I played Wurt a few times, and I just don't like her. I don't know why, but I don't really enjoy playing a character that can only eat veggies. It's actually a million times worse than playing Wigfrid, because Wigfrid has way more value getting actual healing from things like pierogies and other bigger said items that heal you from meat ingredients included. Now, Wurt, yes, there are things that you can do. You can get a lot of kelp and dry them and eat them and all that other stuff, but it just seems too tedious to actually do that. Wurt does have the ability to manipulate merms and encourage them to be on your side and fight for you, and you can have a merm army that's like the size of the universe and have them chop a bajillion trees. I've seen some pretty crazy stuff with Wurt. So yes, that is a benefit on its own. If you know how to do that and master that, However, it takes a long time to really get into that whole Wurt vibe and realize that you have to live among the swamps or at least close by in order for the merms to, do what you want. You have to get the Merm King nice and satisfied to eventually get it upgraded to get the warriors and all that and blah, 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 blah. It's a lot of upkeep for something that, of course, can make or break how you feel about Wurt at all. So for me, I just think it's too much work to get Wurt to work. If that makes any sense to you, because I just think Wurt is a good character. It's just, I don't know, like maybe early game, like, yes, eating a carrot here and there and, eating butterfly muffins, and that's all good and easy. But late game, you might say, okay, I might as well just play a different character so I don't have to go through the process of taming all these merms walking around. And then the merms kind of get in the way of other players. So anytime you see merms, and I always find that anytime a person is playing like Wurt or playing as Weber for that matter, and they bring all these like characters with them, like a bunch of spiders are following them or a bunch of merms are following them, people just get scared. They're like, are they going to attack me and blah, 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 blah. And sure enough, like, you're probably not going to get attacked, but you never really know. So it's like, those sorts of things are, iffy, where if you don't really control your army very well, bad things can happen. They can eat a bunch of things that are around if they're dropped on the ground accidentally in the base. So you just have to know how to manipulate the army a little bit to make it more of your benefit. So yes, there are some pros about Wurt. Just for me, I don't think Wurt is one of the best characters to go to right away from getting a paid DLC character, because I think it's a lot of learning curve. I don't think Wurt is bad. So don't keep that in mind. I don't think Wurt is bad. I just think that Wurt is a hard character to use, and you really need to know what you're doing before you get Wurt. If you're looking for a challenge character, I would suggest going with Wurt. But if you're looking for more of like a best bang for your buck situation, I would stick with Wartox first. Second would either be Wanda or Wormwood, and last would be Wurt. So that's my personal opinion. You let me know down in the comments down below. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.